Alright, hello guys, Brotherhood member Mars here, bringing you a online commentary for a 4v4 31k battle. In this battle we have lots of skilled players, and each bringing some unusual factions to play and unusual builds, and here we'll be showing you different tactics. This is the first video I'll be recording, so I hope you guys like it, and please leave a comment and perhaps a like. So first on our team is Titan Sparky, extremely good 31k player. He's bought a normal 31k build, which is a 14 urban cohort and 6 Praetorian cav build. It's very effective, and it's been proven effective as many people have been using it to play 31k standard army. Here's myself, Brotherhood member Mars, bringing an extremely unusual build. 13 legionary cohorts and 1 legionary first cohort. Unusually in 31k, this type of infantry is not really brought to the field because they can't really bear to fight against urban cohorts, and they usually rout on sight when attacked by Praetorian cavalry. So it'll be quite interesting to use this, and I'll have to be extremely careful during this battle when using it. I brought 5 Praetorian cavalry, each with 2 chevrons and gold. It's basically impossible to use an army, a legionary army, without having some good cavalry. So I'm forced to bring some extremely good cavalry so I can perhaps help out my terrible infantry. So I have to time any sort of charge correctly, and if I make any mistakes with my cavalry, it could end up in a huge disaster for me and my teammates. So by choosing this terrible army, I'm putting my whole team at risk. So let's see how I use it, and perhaps we can do us some good. Here we have Brotherhood member Schema. Many of you would know this person as 8-Ball. He's brought some standard urban cohorts, some usually bought light auxilia units. However, this is not going to be used to inflict any damage, but rather to absorb the pylons thrown by Romans. So this is a very good pilot unit. However, against archer fire, these guys aren't very good against them. So yes, here he's bunched up his urbans, good against cavalry attacks. He's also put a chevron on 2 units. Those are probably his elite units. He's also brought 3 archer auxilia and 6 cavalry, maybe to harass the enemy and shoot them from the back and make them angry and give them a hard time. Here we have Brotherhood member Crypto, bringing Germania, a very good supporting faction. These guys are terrible against pikes, but they are very good against Romans, and if their charge is correctly timed, they can rout 3 or 4 armies in one go. Here he's brought 3 berserkers, 2 chosen axemen. He's gone low on the infantry, but he's brought 7 archers by hiding some more. He's brought a lot of archers, probably to harass the enemy, shoot them from the back, and cause the enemy much harm and grievance. He's also brought Gothic cavalry, a very underrated cavalry unit. Extremely good when timed properly. Although they don't really match up to Praetorians, their charge is very good, and if timed correctly with allies, they can prove to be very devastating. Let's see the other team now. Here we have Brotherhood member Legion 22, who's brought the Macedonians. He's brought 2 companion cavalry. These guys do not have a shield, so they are really bad against missile fire. They also die very quickly. However, their charge is extremely good. They have a charge of 9, accompanied with an attack of 17. So if these 2 are added, they could prove to be extremely devastating. And if charged correctly, they can cause a lot of damage. The thing about companions are that they are faster than most heavy cavalry. I'd say they're one of the fastest heavy cavalry units. And these guys aren't that bad in hand-to-hand melee, so they'll probably be used to support and maybe take out those archers. And if my teammates aren't very careful, they could end up losing all their archers and will be at a great disadvantage. He's bought a levy pikeman unit to absorb the Roman pila built by the Romans. It's good for supporting the main block of infantry he has here, and he's also put one royal pikeman unit just in case if this other unit is destroyed. The thing about Macedon is that they need to protect their flanks, and they have to constantly make sure that the enemy is fighting on the front of them, not in the side or the back. These guys are extremely good against barbarian factions, and cavalry. However, they're not very good against missile fire, so that's probably why my teammates have brought a lot of archers, and why my teammates might conserve their pilas until they're fighting Macedon. He's brought 5 Cretan archers, probably one of the best units in the game. Put a lot of upgrades on them, probably to counter our archers as well. So we're probably going to see big archer war. Here we have Brotherhood member Cal, who has bought a standard 31k army. He's brought 5 Praetorian cavalry into the regular 6, and he's brought 15 urban cohorts. He'll probably be looking to engage in us very quickly. As you can see, his formation is both wide and deep. Got the pila shields, so he can take the pilas, and his formation looks very solid. Here is Wolves Cappy, an extremely good 31k player. He's bought a regular 31k build, what looks to be 12 urban cohorts, 6 Praetorian cav, and 2 archer auxilia. These archers are going to be used to fight against Germania and the SPQR, and I see he split his army into 3 groups. There's perks and there's cons to this formation. The cons being that bad micromanagement skills can lead to these armies being routed simultaneously on their own, and if isolated they can be routed. The good thing about this is that it's very easy to micromanage, so unless you're not paying attention you shouldn't really be routed. Another thing about this is that it's very easy to outflank and outmaneuver somebody. It's very easy to go into different positions, and it's very easy to take advantage of tight formations. Yes, so you'll have to be extremely careful when using this, and yes, this is an effective and proven formation, splitting your armies, and that's a tactic that is rarely used. However, if used properly, it could devastate some of the better or tighter formations out there. Here we have the final person, Brotherhood member Spartan Commander, who has brought 5 Praetorian cavalry and what looks to be 12 or 13 urban cohorts. If you see here, he's brought pilot screen units are not very upgraded. This was probably so he could spend more money on his actual bulk of his army. As you can see, it's in tight formation, so it's good against enemy cavalry. He's also put 2 up here just in case all of his pilot screen units are, destroyed in battle, so you can just put them in loose formation maybe. The thing about one experienced units are that these guys can withstand cavalry attacks, and they're much better in 1v1 combat. So if placed against other units, they can do a lot of harm. he's taken the notion of having elite troops. So if the price to pay is having a much smaller army for elite army, that is what he will go for. As you can see, his formation is quite tight. Cappy's formation might come close to breaking this, but at the end of the day, cavalry is going to win this, and archers. But who knows? Things might change and infantry might win. So we'll have to see during the course of the battle. Here we have all the participants of the 4v4. Let's see what happens during the battle. I hope you guys enjoy it, and here it is. Okay, so as you can see, everybody's just running into formation here. Titan Sparky is running through the forest as fast as he can over. As you can see, I've put my really crappy legionary cohort army extremely close to 8-Ball's army, so I can get support from any time. As you can see, 8-Ball is scheme 8 is be extremely aggressive with his archer auxilia. He's noticed that the Macedonian player is trying to go into the middle of the urbans. The thing about Macedonians are that they can't. Most of them can't really play on the flanks because it's very easy to be outflanked by when playing as Macedon. So they often go in the middle. As you can see, 8-Ball is taking advantage of his movement, and the Macedonians' low specifications against archer fire, and he's shooting at the backs of them. Shooting in the sides and the backs. As you can see, he's using his pilot screed units to block them, so any enemy cavalry cannot progress through. As you can see, Cappy has noticed this, and he's also brought his archers. A little bit of an archer skirmish right here. As you can see, Germania is also bringing his archers around back. He's putting them in a position where he knows where they're going to be, so they can fire. However, the main body won't get hit very much because they're quite far away from arrow fire. As you can see, Legion 22 is getting his archers ready for skirmish, and he's also sending out his companion cavalry to try and take out these archer auxilia and put out a little stress against his teammates. As you can see now, Germania is bringing in his archers. He knows they're running back, so he can take advantage of that. As you can see, Germania and the SPQR have placed their cavalry behind the archers, so they can try and support their archers, so they don't get run down by enemy cavalry. As you can see here, he's put his archers into tight formation. This is probably because tighter formation archers can do a lot more damage than loose formation archers, because if all the arrows are placed into one direction, then they could prove to be a lot of damage. And he's also done this because Macedon's archers is quite far away from his archers, and he could probably do a lot more damage before they come. As you can see, we've all united against one battle line. I've been placed into the middle because I'm the weakest army. Usually the ones in the middle are much weaker army, or unless it's pikes, because pikes cannot defend. The thing about being in the middle is that the center does not break that easily, and if you need support, support is right beside you. So say if somebody wanted to charge their cavalry through here, people could just bring their cavalry around and attack. People could give the infantry. So being in the middle has its perks. And what I've also noticed is that Crypto has brought his infantry body behind mine. So he knows that my infantry is garbage, and that I'll need support. And this is also because with such a weak army like mine, it's a ripe target for these glorious urban cohort armies, and that they might want to attack me first. So Wolf Cappy has noticed that has noticed that I'm trying to bait his army, and that he's pulling back. Seems like Macedon is willing to go up. As you can see, you'd think that legionary cohorts with their low specifications would be completely destroyed by arrow fire, but surprisingly, their armor is very good, and that they can withstand arrow fire. But like many units, if hit from the back, they will lose a lot of men. As you can see, Germania has put some of them archers behind mine, because he wants to try and bait the enemy to attack me. As you can see, he's Apol has done a flanking attack, and he has archers in the sides. This is a good tactic because it forces them to twist and turn and get some shots in the back. See, he's done some damage to some of the infantry. Right now, Legion's about to fight against me. As you can see, Titan Sparky is moving aggressively against Spartan Commander. As you can see, Wolf's Cappy has his split armies are now in the flanks and in the middle. So that split army can be all over the battlefield simultaneously. It's extremely good for supporting. As you can see, I'm moving aggressively with my legionary cohort army. 8-Ball is just harassing the enemy with archers. Titan Sparky has noticed that I'm going to attack Legion 22. So he's going as close as he possibly can to me. He knows that since my infantry can't really put up against pikes and other Roman infantry, that he'll have to support me at all times. So I know I cannot win against this big club of pikes and Wolf's Cappy one split army. So what I'm gonna possibly try and do is try to give the Macedonians as much pila as I can, and after when I'm done, I immediately go into Testudo to try and slow them down. The thing about the checkerboard formation, it's extremely good against other factions. When used by Rome, it can slow down enemies, and it's extremely good for saving time. As you can see, Titan Sparky is about to charge in, but he's noticed that the enemy troops have reformed, and that charging into ready troops is a bad idea. As you can see, I'm trying to slow down the Royal Pike advance while giving as much pila as I can possibly give. You can see my cavalry is ready to attack, getting them ready. You can see there's a lot of movement of cavalry. Not much action going on. Seems like everything's starting on this side. As you can see, Germania is just waiting there for an open spot. He knows that he cannot support me at this moment because there's pikes, and pikes are extremely good against Germania. As you can see, Legion's being extremely aggressive against my urban cohorts. I mean, my legionary cohorts. My cohorts are getting eaten up. As you can see, one's just routed. As you can see, Cal has done a flanking attack. However, 8-Ball readjusts to this. By putting units in Testudo, they're able to slow down enemy advance. As you can see, Cappy has brought a few cavalry to attack my one Testudo. Testudo are extremely good against cavalry hits. Against a whole lot of cavalry, they're not very good. You can see I've put my legionary cohort against a loose formation urban cohort. Surprisingly, they're actually winning. So I don't know what's going on. As you can see, I'm just waiting for a opening in the Macedonian line. As you can see, 8-Ball's noticed that cavalry attacks are coming onto my Testudos over here, and he's brought them extremely close, and he's being extremely defensive. Here I've noticed that the Macedonians have gotten a lot weaker. So as you can see, 8 Ball has done a cavalry attack. Try and catch those units, but he's noticed that Cappy is bringing his whole lot of cavalry, so he's pulling out immediately. He knows that he doesn't want to get involved with that. You can see on this side, just loose skirmishing. As you can see here, I'm just throwing Pila and basically slowing down the enemy, disrupting their formation using Testudo. As you can see, he's noticed that 8 Ball has noticed that they're coming too much out of their lines, and that he's going closer and closer. Now we've got them surrounded right here. You can see we're all waiting for an advance, and I'm moving my infantry back so I can attack them from a different angle. As you can see, 8 Ball's got 3 cavalry, and he's noticed a little hole in the center of the Macedonian and Brutii lines, and he's charging into the hole. However, wasn't a very good charge, and he didn't really do much damage, and this hole has been covered up by a Brutii urban cohort. So as you can see, things are really kicking off in the center. As you can see, it's see Cappy is charging his cavalry into Sparky's urban cohorts. As you can see, I'm also charging in my cavalry. He's charging in his, and because the battle line is so damaged and that there was a hole into the center, the whole front line managed to rout. However, Cal and Spartan Commander realized this. However, they came too late, and now their whole center is broken. And now that the center is broken, 8 Ball, the Germania cavalry, can now come in and charge and take out the flanks, and we can start rolling them up. And also, Crypto has noticed that Spartan Commander's body has no more pilot shields, and that it is left isolated. So he's attacking them. They'll probably rout on contact. Legion 22's just admitted defeat. Here, we're basically just killing the routing cavalry, because these cavalry do come back.
The enemy general is slain.
Yeah, as you can see, everybody just routing. It's a big mess. Big mess. Everybody's just dying. Cappy's one flank has been isolated, and now he's in big trouble. As you can see, we're just killing the routing troops because they do come back. However, they're so battle damaged, and we've been chasing them for a while, so they're gonna run for their lives. As you can see, we've even though
the enemy are utterly beaten.
Even though our troops weren't as good, we were still able to grab victory. Alright, so ultimately this battle shows that you don't always have to have the best troops on you to win a battle. All you need to have is teammates who understand your plan, timing, and good coordination with your teammates in order to win.